Good morning, everyone. I will call to order the Board of Election meeting for February 8th, 2022. With me is Commissioner June Brown
Good morning, here.
and Commissioner William Cressy.
Good morning, everyone.
Next item is the consideration of the agenda. Do we have any proposed changes? If not, then we'll proceed with the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of January 25th, 2022. I believe that Commissioner Brown, you were at that meeting, right?
Yes, yes, I was.
That was your first meeting. Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. It's probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next on the agenda is the Executive Director's report. Mr. Holliday.
Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners. On January 26th, I attended a virtual discussion with other election officials hosted by the Attorney General's Office and the Department of Justice on the work of the Election Threats Task Force, where updates were given on charges for interstate threats to kill government officials, and information was given on the work to review the over 850 reports of threats to election officials. While the Attorney General reiterated that the Justice Department has no tolerance for and will not hesitate to investigate and prosecute. During the meeting, it was also mentioned about the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, where the funds can be used to deter, detect, and protect against threats of violence against election officials. They also provided information to the local FBI offices for all election crime coordinators of your state, and I do have that information for our election crime coordinator here in Illinois at the FBI's office. Met with the polling place department and Equip for Equality and the Department of Justice office on the data transfer of our polling place surveys that have been done on our public and polling places. Along with the Assistant Executive Director Sandra Sparrow, Clint Hurd, and Christopher Tomdak, met with building management to look at and secure needed space for our vote-by-mail operations for the upcoming election cycles. All this space will put our vote-by-mail operations in the central area, whereas last year, well, in 2020, we had access to the 9th floor, but since that floor has been rented out, and I think it was floor 31 that was totally completed, empty, someone has rented that space as well. I had a meeting also with the Assistant Director, Communication Director, vote-by-mail staff, registration staff, along with our General and Legal Counsel on policies, procedures on how we will facilitate permanent vote-by-mail. More details is forthcoming. Last, met virtually with members of the Association of Election Officials of Illinois, with our lobbyists on current election bills, and I believe our General Counsel will cover that. So ends my report, Madam Chair and Commissioners.
Okay. Mr. Holliday, are we able to get any access that any part of that Byrne grant for security?
Yes, I'm looking into that right now, Madam Chair, to see what portion the state has been given and what portion of that the board can receive.
Okay, great, because I think that would help us with election day coverage for security at the polling places.
And Commissioner Cressy had a great idea, and I'm looking into that as well, Commissioner Cressy.
Thank you. Just to leave it hanging, it's the idea that since our building 69 West Washington now has the State Board of Elections offices along with the county election offices, that perhaps we could use those funds. We go at it together to get
Yes.
funds to harden our security at the building. Thank you.
And Commissioner, not to interrupt, but the State Board of Elections is in this building also.
You just said that.
So,
You mentioned that.
oh, okay. didn't
I
hear
just
that.
mentioned that, Lance, but it's good to know that we have all of them here, so we could have just like one big party sometime.
I don't know about that.
Great.
What about June 28th?
Let's see. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If not, then we'd like to hear from our Assistant Executive Director, Sandra Spera. Mrs. Spera?
Good morning, and thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioner Crosby, and good morning and welcome, June Brown.
Good morning.
Good morning. I would like to start by reporting that the Community Services Department is sending a newsletter to the current list of judges of election. It is being sent by two methods, email and regular mail. The purpose of the communication is to encourage judges to confirm their participation for the upcoming 2022 primary election by March 7th. Additionally, Maritza Buendia is our new Spanish language contractor, myself, and the executive director and the community services manager and assistant manager held an onboarding introduction meeting with her last week. Relative to human resources matters, I continue to work closely with our recently hired HR manager, Annetta, who's here joining us. Regarding the registration department, I want to emphasize our staff is assisting the general public with the laptop computers for voter registration and signature verification, and is making sure that the public is following COVID protocols. Hours currently are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. Managers from two different departments are providing some staff on a temporary basis to assist the registration department with projects such as electronic attachment of support documentation to voter files, including voter registration transfers to other jurisdictions and notices. As Charles mentioned, we did have a meeting with the pre-election department securing space in the lower level for the vote by mail processing and the central count of the vote by mails. I've had several meetings on the Canvas mailing, and we should have that finalized project soon. And we anticipate the mailing to go out at the beginning of March. Finally, an update on the warehouse. There's a few items to report. The certification of the maintenance upgrades certified by the State Board of Elections in November of 2021. The upgrade and maintenance of the touchscreens and ballot toners are currently at 55% complete. The replacement of the printer toner for all early voting printers have been completed. The warehouse continues to empty out the blue carriers, so they are ready for the filled with supplies and equipment for the supplies for equipment for the 2022 primary. The warehouse is also conducting an inventory of supplies and equipment on hand and assessing the condition and determine what needs to be replaced. In closing, I will be participating in the Election Center's upcoming special workshop and course training later this month in Atlanta, Georgia. And that is all I have.
Any questions? Okay, well, thank you. And now we will hear from our Public Information Director, Max Bever. Good morning, Max.
Good morning, Chairwoman. Thank you so much. This is Max Bever. Thank you to our Executive Director and Assistant Executive Director for their thorough report. I just have a few things to add on to what they've already mentioned, what we're working on communications-wise. I am excited that I'll soon be taping with Commissioner Brown for our next City That Votes podcast in the next couple of weeks. So please be lookout in the future. We'll introduce voters and our listeners to our new commissioner. And along with our designers, we continue to work on the Canvas mailing. We're also looking at new I Voted stickers options over wristbands this year. So we'd be happy to look to share those as soon as we can in the near future too. And that's it for my report.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I will then proceed to old business, infrastructure projects and changes in election administration, electronic poll books and voting equipment. I think we touched upon a couple of those Is there anything additional that needs to be updated on those?
We did have a meeting with Brian Whiteley from ESNS. The updating of the Epo book will start at the end of March.
Okay, and how long does that take?
Uh,
Approximately?
Brian, about 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, I don't know. Please,
3 or 4 days.
3 or 4 days?
Oh, okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other updates? Okay, if not, Mr. Lasker, anything new on legislation?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting, I gave a summary of a lot of the pending bills, and there's been very little action. You know, the legislature canceled its sessions last week because of the weather, so that on top of the already curtailed sessions due to COVID, not much has happened. I did speak with the legislative director from the State Board of Elections late last week. What she said is that the plan is to keep our eyes open again for an elections omnibus bill to be introduced towards the end of this current session. We're sort of testing the waters with some of those pending bills that we talked about during our last meeting. So beyond that, there's really been nothing for me to report on the past 2 weeks.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And now we'll proceed to new business, and the first item is an intergovernmental agreement with the County of Cook regarding the 69 West Washington office space. Um,
Okay,
would like-
Madam Chair, this is just a lease for the space that we're occupying here. This lease was brought up in 2020, and we're just getting around to it. We got together with the city and the county budget's office, and the two of them worked it out, meaning the city and the county budget office, and the city has worked the increase into our budget already. We just need a lease. No lease. Every time something has come up, they look at our space. We were only paying maintenance, and now we're paying the lease so they can take their eyes off of our office. And I've mentioned to them, once the remaining parts of the 8th floor are vacant and available, to give us the first shot at that, so we will have more room to spread out our operations, and we wouldn't have to constantly move our vote by mail operations from floor to floor. But the lease is solid. It's been gone over by our general counsel. I even had our facility contractor, Dean Fatikas, have a look at it. So we just want to get on the page, same page with every other office in the building, and not having to be hassled every year about a lease.
Okay. And let me go back to the vote by mail issue. So what, are we still looking for the space for vote by mail?
No,
To process it?
No, we have secured the space, and we have secured 3 additional locations in the lower level. The office where the Secretary of State once occupied, and then we have 2 offices, one where the clock shop was at, and then the room next to the clock shop, which was once a temporary lunchroom or space for the building management while they was redoing the 22nd floor staff. And so the space is all down there on the lower level where the judge machines are at, and our large conference room. So that operations will be in one place. There won't be any problems with chain of custody because we're all right there in that one area. But the space has been secured, and we're going to move forward with whatever construction that needs to be done.
Okay.
If I may just clarify, Madam Chair, that today's agreement for approval is simply for suites 800 and 600. The other space that Mr. Holliday was just discussing was separate agreements.
Yes.
Okay, and we still have to enter into those.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any further questions regarding the lease?
My only thing would be, do we have the request in if the seventh floor ever becomes available, but we could get first dibs on that? Or
Well, we will look into that as well, Commissioner Cressy. If
okay,
they ever decide they want to move out, I asked the building management that they would give us first dibs on whatever space that is may become available. And the seventh floor would be great. You know,
it would. And in Chicago style for dibs, we're going to place some old furniture down there.
well, we got to make sure it's not moved by certain aldermen or commissioners, but we can put it there with our logo on it. Okay.
There you go. Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Question from Commissioner Brown. For the 8th floor space, are there tentative openings now, or you're just looking at the future, Mr.
I'm
Holland?
looking at the future because there are offices around the corner there, but they're not really being occupied. Maybe I haven't seen it in a while. The offices that are there, they may have one person come in a week. So it looks like maybe when things get better, they'll come back completely. But if not, if they decide to start moving out, he's going to give us first dibs on it.
Okay, I tend to agree with Commissioner Cressy with the 7th floor being probably a more optimal space, because I'm just thinking as far as even security issues, with us being on the 8th floor, maybe for a vote by mail 7th may be a better push.
Mhm.
The 7th floor currently is a secured floor. So the guards have to let those members up, those individuals who may have an appointment. So I'm not sure how soon they're thinking about moving out, but
I believe that's the public guardian's office, so
Yes.
they don't necessarily have any plans of moving, but
so,
we'll see.
but
If they do,
we'll be on it.
Yeah,
Okay,
We'll
all right.
have that
Thank you.
furniture down there.
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, if there are no further questions, is there a motion to approve a 5-year intergovernmental agreement with the County of Cook for the board's offices on the 6th and 8th floor at 69 West Washington with a total base rent of $3,636,000, subject to adjustments over the course of a 5-year term and commencing on December 1st, 2021 through November 30th, 2026.
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. And now we will go on to our next item, which is approval of a sole source agreement with Hensley for vote by mail services. Who's speaking to this?
Opal, could you go?
I'm happy to, unless Opal or Charles, Mr. Holliday or Ms. Walls would prefer.
Ms. Walls will speak to it.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. I'd like to recommend that we enter into a sole source contract with Hensley Company. As you know, Hensley Company performed our vote by mail services during our 2020 elections. They did an admirable job for us. With that, Hensley created a new system along with the CBO East staff here. That new system allowed for automated print-on-demand services. It also had key innovations that included a redesign of an envelope to a letter size that ultimately resulted in significantly decrease in cost for us. They implemented a 2D barcode on all pieces of the mailing, which allowed for an automatic matching process for us. As I stated, they did a print-on-demand system for us. They utilized qualified USPS business reply mail, which allowed, again, for postage savings. And the I voted sticker was redesigned so that it was automatically inserted into the packet. This elections coming up will be for the same type of work, the vote by mail services for Hensley. The term of the contract would be from February 9th, 2022 through April 8th, 2023. This would include elections, the June 2022 and November 2022, the February 2023, and if needed, the April 2023 elections. So this contract dollar amount will be for those 4 elections. I've split them into fiscal years 2022 and 2023. So for fiscal year 2022, the amount would be 1.3 million. Approximately for fiscal year 2023, it would be 1.2 million for a total not to exceed of 2.554,500. I'd like to note that these are just estimates. It's hard to zero in on exactly how many vote by mail packages will be needed, and we veered on the high end. But obviously, we will only be billed and charged for the actual number of packets that are printed and delivered. I'd also like to note that Hensley Company is a certified woman-owned company through the city of Chicago. And this is a sole source contract. We did not go out for a procurement on this because Hensley is certified through Dominion as the only Illinois house that can do this work for us. So with that, I'd like to ask for your approval to enter into this contract with Hensley for, again, in the dollar amount of 2.554,500 million. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yes, just to clarify, I think I heard it in there, but I know I did, but I just want to clarify. In the event that we don't need a second round election in April of 2023, then we don't pay them anything, or we pay only for the particular wards or whatever that would be involved, correct?
Right. If there is no election at all, we wouldn't pay for 2023 services. We would only again pay for what packages are produced, mailed, and developed for us.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Opal. Is there a motion to approve a sole source contract with Hensley Company for vote by mail ballots, printing and mailing services for the next 4 elections with a total cost not to exceed $2,554,500 over the term of the agreement running through February 9th, 2022 through April 8th, 2023.
Commissioner Brown moves that this motions that this is accepted and entered into
Thank
as
you.
stated.
Commissioner Cressy seconds.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a memorandum of understanding for a service agreement with the MICFA Challenge for student poll worker recruitment services.
Okay, Madam Chair, MICFA, the service they provide us with the student judges, and they've already reached out to us and we've answered to them about services for the upcoming election cycle. So they're prepared to supply us with the student judges that we need. You know, they have graduation, summer school, but they have assured us that they can still accommodate us and still would like to partnership with us in supplying us student election judges.
Great, great. Thank you, Mr. Holliday. Are there any questions regarding?
Just a quick one. Do we have any information? Do many of we've been working with MICFA Challenge with the high school judges for a while. How do any of them stay on and become regular judges with us down the line after they're registered and such?
Well, Commissioner Cressy, I can check with Community Service Department and Paulina supervisor of the Judges Department and see if she has a record of that, if any of them stayed on as judges.
Thank you. If it's been successful, that would be great to know. Thanks so much.
Mr. Cressy, I don't have any stats for you. I don't know the numbers, but that is actually a question I've asked a few years ago. And I did hear the answer is, at least for however many people, yes, some people have. They tend to be savvy with the technology, and the report I heard is that they enjoy it, they get interested in it. So I don't know how many, I can't really give you info, but I've heard that it has happened, and we're glad to see it.
Mhm.
It would be wonderful.
Can-
Thanks. Al.
About how many are we getting students?
That I don't know either, but Mr. Holliday, I think I've heard it's over 1,000. It might even be.
Yes, that number we'll have to verify with the Judges Department with Paulina. I don't have a number at the moment.
It's
Again,
usually-
I've just asked out of my own curiosity in the past, so don't quote me on these numbers, but it has sounded to me like a very successful program.
Charles, may I say something on this?
Go
Yes.
Just to let you know, in the past years, we've had up to 2,000, 2,300 student judges from MICVA. And the good thing about MICVA Challenge, once those high school students graduate, we usually, when they go to college, we usually get them to come back to serve as polling place supervisors. So, I mean, it's a great program. And the city of Chicago leads that program throughout the country. So it's an average of around 2,000 judges of election that they recruit.
Great, thank you.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Let's see. So, the motion here is to approve a memorandum of understanding for a services agreement with MICVA Challenge for assisting the board with the recruitment of high school students to serve as election judges for the 2022 primary and general elections, with a cost of $20,000 per election for a total of $40,000 over the term of the agreement. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved by Commissioner Cressy.
Is there a
Seconded
second?
by Commissioner Brown.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a legal report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just point out that late last week, the Libertarian Party filed a lawsuit against the Cook County Clerk's Office and also named our board commissioners as defendants. The issue is that in the 2020 November election, Libertarian Party candidate for Cook County State's Attorney received more than 5% of the vote. Under the election code, that makes them established party. But the Cook County Clerk's Office allegedly has not recognized the Libertarian Party is eligible for having a primary election in the county offices that fall underneath, for example, county board president, county board commissioners, and so forth. So it's really a dispute between the county clerk's office, as this board, between the Libertarian Party and the county clerk's office. As this board well knows, during this election cycle, it is our ministerial statutory duty to comply with the ballot certifications that we receive from both the State Board of Elections and the county clerk's office. The State Board of Elections handles the state and federal offices. The county clerk's office handles the county offices, and we then print the ballots accordingly. So I have spoken with, communicated with counsel for Libertarian Party, and he's agreed that he will be voluntarily dismissing our board. Nonetheless, I will obviously monitor the case. It will affect our ballots, and so I'll keep you apprised as to how it goes.
Thank you.
That's my report.
Okay, thank you. We have no financial report. Trish, do we have a public comment?
No, we do not have a request for public comment.
Okay, if not, then I will make a motion to go into executive session under 2C1 of the Open Meetings Act. Is there a second?
Second by
Second.
Commissioner Cressy. I'm sorry, June, I cut you off there. Second by Commissioner Cressy.
I'm good.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
And Commissioner Brown?
Votes aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion passes, and I just want to let everyone know that no action will be taken in executive session. And when we return from executive session into open session, There will be no motion, simply a motion for adjournment. So at this time, the commissioners will exit, and we will return to open session once we're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now back in open session, the board took no action in executive session. The next item on the agenda is the adjournment to our next regularly scheduled meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Commissioner Brown moves that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Commissioner Cressy votes that we adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which I hope doesn't run too long because my other eye surgery takes place that afternoon. So,
Okay. It's probably
Second.
motioned and seconded. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Brown votes aye.
Commissioner Cressy votes aye.
Motion passes and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Have a
Thank you,
good
everybody.
rest of the week. Bye-bye.
Stay
Bye,
safe,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.